Ann, I'd like to welcome you to Visionary Healthware Online, and I appreciate that you were able to join us today. I'd like to take a couple of minutes and talk to you about what you do for Visionary Healthware. I understand you're a trainer. What's that like?
It definitely makes my life busy. There's not a whole lot of wasted time in my day. I do training on Visionary Office. I do training with the Soft Aid, the medical office, and the Durable Medical Equipment program.
So it sounds like training can be a challenge, especially with all of the different software products you've had to learn.
It is a challenge. You never know when you get on with a client exactly how they're going to be set up or what they need. There's a lot of variability because there's a lot of different practices. Pediatrics, workers' comp, there's just different practices and they all have different needs. So you just have to go with the flow.
Well, speaking of go with the flow, I would imagine then you have seen a lot of different types of practices and have had to work with a lot of different types of people. So I'm assuming you've had to do a lot of travel then.
Yes, and I don't mind the travel piece of it. I've been anywhere from the West Coast to South Florida to St. John's, Newfoundland, in Canada. So it's, you go where the customers are to do their training.
So when you're doing the training for customers, I understand that you do two different types. You do online training and you do on-site training. Tell me a little bit about those types.
Well, right now the online training is probably what we do more of. It's it's more cost effective for the clients because they're not having to pay the travel expenses. They're just paying the trainer's time. We use WebEx. We do the training online with them, get onto their system, show them how to set up their system, show them how to troubleshoot a problem, how to run reports. It's a very effective tool in the training world. Now, as far as the on-site, usually that is at least a full day's training, or 2 days, or 3 days, depending on what the client needs. We just finished a training for 5 days, and that's usually a challenge when you're out there for 5 days because it's usually large practices that you're working with and a lot of different people, and that type of an on-site training is very challenging. But it's well worth it because once they're set up and operating well, you've done your job right.
You're speaking of the challenge, but sounds to me like not only do you like the challenge, but I'm curious, what is your background?
It's interesting. I've had about 10 years working in a hospital environment, but that was long enough ago not to have been using computers at that point. But I did discover when I started working with computers that I had found the niche I was going to work in for the rest of my life. At one point I reached a point where I didn't want to just be the person typing on the machines. I wanted to fix them. Went back to school, got the knowledge I needed to work in the IT world. From there, given the changes in jobs these days, I started with a company that did medical software support and very quickly moved into training, and there is where I found what I really like doing. I enjoy teaching people how to use their software. I've taught 3 or 4 different types of applications. I've worked with 3 different software development companies. Visionary is one. I've been with them for almost 3 years now, and I like the company. I like the product.
Well, Ann, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate you doing this.
You're welcome. I enjoyed doing this too.